What if the most powerful tool you have to clean out your arteries, lower your blood pressure, and add real years to your life is not a pill from a pharmacy, not a procedure in a hospital, but a 15-minute ritual you do in your own kitchen every single morning before breakfast?
Down at your wrist. Right there, you can probably feel your pulse. That pulse is being pushed through arteries that, if you're over 60, are almost certainly carrying more plaque than they were 10 years ago. And the next 14 days, if you do exactly what I'm about to show you, can start to reverse that.
I'm Dr. Belmore, and after more than 2 decades practicing cardiovascular medicine, I'm going to walk you through the exact morning protocol I give my own patients.
To start cleaning out their arteries in 2 weeks or less. Most people have no idea that the first 30 minutes after you wake up are the single most dangerous window of the entire day for your cardiovascular system. Three things happen all at once. First, you wake up significantly dehydrated. 8 hours without water has thickened your blood, making it noticeably stickier than it was the night before. Stickier blood moves more slowly through narrowed arteries and clumps more easily into clots. Second, your cortisol, the stress hormone, peaks right at the moment of waking. It surges by roughly 50% within minutes of opening your eyes. And cortisol pushes your blood pressure up sharply. Third, your nitric oxide levels are at their lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle.
American Heart Association data shows that heart attacks and strokes are 40% more likely to occur between 6 and 10 a.m. than at any other time of day.
That window is exactly when most people are doing the things that make it worse. The protocol I'm about to give you exists to fix every single one of those three vulnerabilities in the right order within 15 minutes. I want to tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret. Margaret was 64 years old, a retired hospital nurse from Central Florida, 3 grown children, 4 grandkids, married 38 years. She came into my office because her blood pressure had been creeping up for 3 years, and her own internist had told her, kindly but firmly, that if she did not get it under 140/90 within 6 months, he was going to put her on a third medication. She did not want a third medication. She was already on 2, and they made her feel tired and foggy and not quite herself. Her lab showed a fasting glucose of 108, an A1C of 5.9, squarely in prediabetes territory, and her most recent carotid ultrasound showed 28% narrowing in her right carotid artery, the early stages of the same condition that puts people in wheelchairs after a stroke at 70. She told me she walked 5 days a week. She told me she ate mostly clean. She told me she did not understand why her body was failing her.
I asked her one question. What is the very first thing you do every morning when you wake up?
She said, I roll over, grab my phone, scroll the news for 10 minutes, then I get up and make a strong cup of coffee on an empty stomach. That was the entire morning routine of a woman whose arteries were trying to ask for help. We changed only her first 30 minutes of the day. Everything else stayed the same. 3 months later, her blood pressure was 128/82, her A1C dropped to 5.6, and her follow-up ultrasound showed no progression of the plaque. Some of it, in the early soft layers, had actually receded. Margaret did not need a third medication. She needed the right morning. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room, 14 days. Is that real? Or is that just a number designed to sell you something? Let me be direct with you. The answer is, it depends on what you mean by clean. Your arteries do not magically scrub themselves of decades-old calcified plaque in 2 weeks. Nobody who is being honest with you will promise that. What your arteries absolutely can do in 14 days and what the research actually shows is something nearly as important. The inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, regenerates roughly every 30 days. Within just 7 to 14 days of consistent vascular care, that lining can shift from inflamed and dysfunctional to smooth, responsive, and flexible. Multiple controlled studies, including of the American College of Cardiology, have shown measurable improvements in endothelial function measured by something called flow-mediated dilation in as little as 10 to 14 days when subjects followed simple morning protocols similar to this one. Blood pressure can drop by 5 to 12 points in the same window. Arterial stiffness, which is the cardiovascular metric that predicts strokes better than cholesterol does, can soften meaningfully in 14 days. That is what is real. Not dissolved, calcified plaque, but a healed, functioning, flexible endothelium that stops adding new plaque and starts clearing the early soft layers. In cardiovascular medicine, that is enormous. Now let me show you exactly how to get there. The morning artery cleansing ritual is a sequence of 4 things done in this exact order within the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Each one takes between 2 and 5 minutes. Together, the entire protocol fits inside 15 minutes from start to finish. It does not require any equipment. It does not require a supplement subscription. It does not require you to give up your coffee, although I'm going to ask you to delay it. And it works because each step addresses one of the 3 morning vulnerabilities I described earlier, and the 4th step locks in the gains for the rest of the day. The 4 steps in order are this: 1, the first glass of water with lemon; 2, the nitric oxide drink; 3, the 5-minute vascular activation sequence; 4, the protein first meal timed correctly. Now let me walk you through each one in detail. Step 1. Within 5 minutes of opening your eyes, before you check your phone, before you turn on the coffee, before you do anything else, you drink 1 full 16-ounce glass of room temperature water with the juice of half a fresh lemon squeezed into it. That is the entire step. Sounds almost too simple. The science behind it is not. After 8 hours of sleep, your blood volume has dropped by roughly 10% through normal overnight respiration and urine production. Lower blood volume means thicker, more viscous blood. Thicker blood moves more slowly through your narrowed arteries and exerts more shear pressure on already stressed vessel walls. The very first 16 ounces of water you drink in the morning rehydrates your bloodstream within 20 to 30 minutes. Your blood becomes noticeably thinner, easier to pump, and dramatically less likely to form a clot during that dangerous 6 to 10 a.m. window. Now, why room temperature water and not ice water? Because ice water triggers a brief constriction in the small vessels of your gut, which is the exact opposite of what we want first thing in the morning. We want everything opening up, not clamping down. Why the lemon? 2 reasons that matter. First, the vitamin C in fresh lemon juice is a direct antioxidant for the endothelial cells in your vessel walls. Studies published in the journal Atherosclerosis have shown that even modest oral doses of vitamin C can measurably improve flow-mediated dilation within hours. Second, the citrate in lemon helps your liver clear overnight metabolic waste more efficiently, which lowers the inflammatory load on your blood vessels for the rest of the morning. Imagine your blood after a long night of sleep as a slow, muddy river. The first glass of lemon water is like opening the upstream dam. The water clears, the flow speeds up, and everything downstream, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, starts to function better within minutes. Step 2, about 20 to 30 minutes after the lemon water, you drink 1 glass of a nitrate-rich vegetable juice or smoothie, specifically beetroot. And if not beetroot, then a smoothie made with arugula, spinach, or a combination of dark leafy greens. I want you to understand what is happening here, because this single step is the most underestimated tool in cardiovascular medicine that you can do at home. Beetroot and dark leafy greens are extraordinarily high in dietary nitrates. When you drink them, those nitrates are converted by bacteria in your mouth and gut into nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is the single most important molecule for healthy arteries that almost nobody talks about. Nitric oxide is the signal your endothelium uses to tell your blood vessels to relax and open. When nitric oxide is plentiful, your arteries are flexible, your blood pressure stays low, and your circulation reaches every corner of your body. When nitric oxide is depleted, which happens naturally with age and accelerates dramatically after 60, your arteries become stiff, your blood pressure climbs, and the inner lining starts the chronic inflammation that builds plaque year after year. A study published in the journal Hypertension showed that drinking about 250 milliliters of beetroot juice every morning produced an average systolic blood pressure drop of 7.7 millimeters of mercury in adults over 55 within 14 days. That is comparable to what you would get from a low-dose blood pressure medication with none of the side effects. What people assume is that they cannot drink beetroot juice every day because they do not like the taste. What is actually true is that with a little fresh lemon and a half-inch of fresh ginger blended in, beetroot becomes genuinely pleasant. And if beetroot is truly off the table for you, a smoothie made with 2 big handfuls of fresh arugula, a frozen banana, half a cup of frozen berries, and a cup of water will deliver a comparable nitrate load. One critical rule: do not use mouthwash before this drink. The antibacterial mouthwash kills the very oral bacteria that convert the nitrates into nitric oxide. And research in the journal Free Radical Biology and Medicine has shown that mouthwash used can completely block the blood pressure lowering effect of beetroot. Brush your teeth, rinse with plain water, and drink. That is it. Step 3, after the nitric oxide drink, you spend exactly 5 minutes doing what I call the vascular activation sequence. This is not a workout. You do not change clothes, you do not break a sweat. You stand barefoot on the floor in your kitchen or your bedroom, and you do 4 simple movements in sequence. Movement 1, 30 slow ankle rolls, 15 in one direction with each foot, then 15 in the other. This is the most ignored exercise in vascular medicine. The muscles around your ankles act like a secondary pump for the venous blood returning from your feet to your heart. Activating them first thing in the morning kickstarts the circulation that was sluggish all night. Movement 2, 30 slow calf raises. Stand with your feet flat on the floor, then rise up onto your toes. Hold for 1 second at the top and lower back down with control. The calf muscles are called the second heart for good reason. Every contraction squeezes a generous volume of blood up and out of your legs back toward your central circulation. 30 calf raises move more venous blood in 2 minutes than 30 minutes of sitting will. Movement 3, 20 slow arm raises. Stand with your arms relaxed at your sides, then raise both arms straight up overhead, hold for 2 seconds, and lower slowly. This recruits the muscles around your collarbone and chest, which open the subclavian arteries, the vessels that feed blood up into your head, neck, and brain. After a night of lying flat, those vessels need a wake-up signal. Movement 4, 1 full minute of slow box breathing. This means breathing in through your nose for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, breathing out through your mouth for 4 counts, and holding empty for 4 counts. Repeat that pattern 5 times. Box breathing directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming branch of your autonomic system. It softens your heart rate variability, drops your morning cortisol surge, and signals to your endothelium that the day ahead is not an emergency. Think of this 5-minute sequence as flipping on the lights in every room of a house. Your arteries are the wiring. The protocol is the master switch. You're telling every vessel in your body that it is time to wake up safely and gradually, instead of being slammed awake by a sudden flood of caffeine on an empty stomach. Step 4, after the 5-minute activation, wait at least 30 minutes before eating anything, and when you do eat, make sure your first meal is built around real protein and healthy fat, not refined carbohydrates. That 30-minute window matters more than people realize. It gives the nitric oxide from your beetroot drink time to actually circulate and do its job. If you immediately follow the activation with a sugary or starchy breakfast, toast with jam, boxed cereal, a sweet pastry, you spike your blood glucose and inflame the very endothelium you just spent 15 minutes protecting. You cancel the entire morning's work in one bowl. A genuinely artery-friendly first meal looks like this: 2 eggs cooked any way you like them with a slice of avocado and a small handful of berries, or a bowl of plain Greek yogurt with walnuts and blueberries, or a piece of true sourdough toast topped with mashed avocado and a hard-boiled egg. All 3 of these breakfasts give you steady protein, real fats, and intact matrix fiber that keep your blood sugar flat for hours and let the nitric oxide and rehydration from your morning protocol keep working. And yes, you can have your coffee, but please drink it after this first meal, not before. Coffee on a completely empty stomach is one of the worst things you can do to a 60-year-old cardiovascular system. It spikes cortisol on top of the morning surge, raises blood pressure, and tightens the very arteries you have just spent 15 minutes opening. Wait until after you have eaten, then enjoy your cup. Your arteries will thank you for the extra 45 minutes of patience. Let me pause here for 1 second. We have walked through all 4 steps of the morning protocol. Before I show you exactly what happens day by day over the next 14 days, I want you to do me a small favor. If you're willing to try this protocol tomorrow morning, type the word "ready" in the comments below right now. Just ready. And while you're there, tell me how old you are and which city or state you're watching from. I read every single comment on this channel, and knowing where my viewers are watching from helps me tailor the next videos to the people who actually show up. Now, what does the next 14 days actually look like inside your body? Let me walk you through it, because part of staying consistent is knowing what to expect. Days 1 through 3. The first 3 days are about rehydration. You will likely notice that you urinate slightly more in the morning, which is normal and good. Your morning urine will be lighter in color, which tells you your kidneys are no longer working overtime to conserve every drop of water. Some people notice a mild headache in the first 48 hours as their body adjusts to the change in caffeine timing. Drink an extra glass of water and it usually passes by day 3. Your morning blood pressure, if you measure it, will start to read 3 to 5 points lower by day 3, days 4 through 7. By the end of the first week, the nitric oxide pathway is fully primed. Your endothelial cells are producing more of the molecule on their own. Your morning blood pressure should be down by 5 to 8 points compared to baseline. Many of my patients report that they no longer feel that anxious racing heart feeling in the first hour of being awake. You may also notice your hands and feet are warmer in the mornings, which is direct evidence that peripheral circulation has improved. Days 8 through 14. This is when the real changes start showing up. By day 10, the endothelial lining has begun a full regeneration cycle. The chronic inflammation that has been gnawing at your vessel walls for years starts to quiet down. Soft, early-stage plaque begins to be cleared by your body's own repair mechanisms. By day 14, controlled studies have shown measurable improvements in flow-mediated dilation, which is an objective ultrasound measurement of how well your arteries can open and close in response to demand. Blood pressure is often down by 7 to 12 points. Fasting glucose tends to be 5 to 10 points lower. And most importantly, the cardiovascular markers that predict strokes and heart attacks have moved in the right direction for the first time in years. Margaret, the retired nurse I told you about, hit every single one of those milestones on schedule. By day 14, her morning blood pressure was 132/84, down from 156/96 at baseline. By month 3, she was off one of her 2 medications with her cardiologist blessing. Now, 3 morning habits that will cancel out everything you just learned. I see these every single week, and they are usually completely invisible to the people doing them. Habit 1, reaching for your phone in the first 15 minutes of waking. Doom scrolling the news or your email before you have rehydrated spikes or cortisol on top of the natural morning surge. Your blood pressure can jump 15 to 20 points within the first 3 minutes of bad news exposure. Keep your phone in another room for the first 30 minutes, or at minimum, do not unlock it until after step 1 is complete. Habit 2, coffee on a completely empty stomach within minutes of waking. I know this is sacred to a lot of people, and I'm not telling you to give up coffee. I drink coffee myself. I'm telling you to delay it by about an hour. Coffee on top of dehydrated blood and a cortisol spike with no food in your stomach is one of the cleanest ways to damage your endothelium morning after morning. Wait until after step 4, drink it after breakfast. The pleasure is exactly the same. The harm disappears. Habit 3, jumping out of bed and immediately moving fast. Standing up too quickly from a horizontal position causes a sharp blood pressure swing called orthostatic stress. For a 60-year-old vascular system, that repeated daily swing accelerates arterial stiffening over time. The solution is straightforward. When you wake up, sit on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds. Take 3 slow breaths, then stand up. This single 30-second pause has been shown to reduce orthostatic blood pressure spikes by up to 50% in adults over 60, half a minute. Free, effective. Almost nobody does it. Here's exactly what I want you to do starting tonight. Step 1. Tonight, before you go to bed, fill a 16-ounce glass with room temperature water and leave it on your kitchen counter or your bedside table. Cut a fresh lemon in half and put it in the fridge. Removing the friction tonight is what makes the protocol effortless tomorrow. Step 2. Tomorrow, on your way home from work or your next grocery run, buy 1 bottle of cold-pressed beetroot juice from the grocery store or 1 bunch of fresh beets, or a large bag of arugula and a few bananas if you prefer the smoothie route. Whichever option fits your kitchen and your taste. Step 3. When you wake up tomorrow morning, sit on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds. Stand up slowly, walk to the water, drink the entire glass within 5 minutes. Then wait 20 to 30 minutes before the nitric oxide drink and the 5-minute vascular activation sequence. Step 4. Eat your protein first meal at least 30 minutes after the activation. Coffee comes after the meal, not before. Step 5. Do this for 14 consecutive mornings, no exceptions. Take your blood pressure on day 1, first thing after the protocol, and again on day 14 at the same time. Same arm, same posture. Write the numbers down. The difference will surprise you, and it will surprise your doctor. Step 6. If you're over 60 and you have not had a recent blood pressure check, an A1C or a basic lipid panel in the last year, schedule them this week. Medicare covers all 3 for most patients with cardiovascular risk factors. Knowing your starting numbers is what lets you measure your real progress. If this video gave you something useful, please share it with someone you